Welcome back to Hannity. There are just 23 days until President Obama is officially out of office. But he wants you to know that if allowed, he would have beaten Donald Trump and won a third term. Take a listen to this one.
The majority does buy into the notion of a one America that is tolerant and diverse and open and full of energy and dynamism, and the problem is it doesn't always manifest itself in politics, right? I am confident in this vision because I'm confident that if I had run again and articulated it, I think I could have mobilized a majority of the American people to rally behind it.
Not surprisingly, President-elect Trump fired back on Twitter, writing, quote, President Obama said that he thinks he would have won against me. He should say that, but I say no way. Jobs leaving, ISIS, Obamacare, etc. Joining me now is Fox News contributor Charles Hurt, former National Justice Director for Bernie Sanders, Teslin Figaro, and Republican strategist Noel Nickper. All right, I will start with you, Charles. Let me ask you this. Is he delusional, or is he depressed, or is he afraid people are going to forget him? Why is he talking about this?
I think all of the above. I don't have any idea what he was even talking about before he got to the part where he said that, if I had run again, I certainly would have won. That's the kind of taunt you hurl over your shoulders. You're walking running away from the bar fight. But the bottom line is he may not have been on the ballot this time, but his policies were, and his policies have been on the ballot for the past 8 years. And while, yes, he did win re-election in 2012, Democrats have lost 1,000 seats based on his policies, based on his record. And so, what he's saying right there is just flat out simply not true.
All right, and Teslin, isn't he the one who said, I will take this personally, if she doesn't get elected, it's really a third term for me?
You're absolutely right. I mean, President Obama galvanized every politician, every pastor, and every entertainer. And in the words of the judge, the motion was denied. They presented a third-year term, and no one was buying into it. And it's not about, President Obama's ego and how he feels about how he would have won. It was the 900 legislators who lost. It was the American people who lost jobs. It was the American people who lost income. It was the American people who lost affordable health care. So instead of him talking about how he would have won, let's talk about the people that lost and focus on that. It was the DNC that lost integrity. So perhaps as we go into the new year, they can figure out how to not make it about the shiny object and focus on the grassroots like the Republicans have done, and perhaps they'll see a win. Let's just get over it, get off the field. You've lost, pick your toys up and go home and try again.
And Noel, just as Teslin was saying, I mean, all you have to do is look at the facts. It wasn't just Donald Trump. The Senate, the House, the gubernatorial races. I mean, this was a trifecta.
Well, you know what? So much for a smooth transition. Do you remember when Obama said, let's make this smooth, let's do the best we can? Whatever on that. It's just like he believes his own rhetoric. And how arrogant to sit there and say, if I would have run for a third term, I would have won. Really? Slap in the face Hillary Clinton, slap in the face the voters, the middle-class voters that voted you out. And although he may have won some of those states that Trump won, the fact of it is that Trump won.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they turned around and they, not only did Trump win, but they changed parties, and that's pretty huge. Yeah. All right, Charles, I'm going to ask you to listen to what David Axelrod said about Obama not accepting that the election was a referendum on his view of the world.
He doesn't accept that the election was a verdict on his view of where the country should be going. He points out that she got a majority of the vote. He feels that he would have won the election. But there's no doubt that there is some criticism implicit in his remarks.
And to me, the criticism is of Hillary Clinton, correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I must say that this is the one part of all of this that I've enjoyed immensely, is just how much he throws her under the bus at every turn. And he was doing that the day after, just saying, you know, talking about how much harder he worked when he ran for re-election and ran for the first time, and talking about when he beat her, how hard he worked in Iowa in order to beat her. But can you imagine if George W. Bush in 2008 had come out after the election and just trashed John McCain after Barack Obama won? No decent person would do this. And to have the President of the United States now doing this, I think it really does, it says a lot about both how he is governed and kind of his, you know, the way he is going to, I think, be remembered going forward.
And Teselin, he said in this interview, he says, even people who disagreed with me says that my vision is the right vision. Now, how do you justify that? How do you rationalize that, Teselin?
Well, I rationalize it that people got tired of hearing a vision. They wanted to see action. You know, anybody can talk about what you're going to do, but see, when it came down to the reality of what was actually done, people were over it. You know, we see that as we look across the states, like we've mentioned several times, with all the legislative seats that were lost. You know, this grassroots movements that Republicans have been able to successfully implement came from the ground up. And so although he gave a good speech, a great vision, when it really came down to the reality, people were over it. And for him to say that he was not on the ballot, that he did not instruct Clinton on how to, produce the same type of results that he did is just a flat-out lie. You know, he instructed everyone around the country to support Hillary Clinton. We saw that with Bernie Sanders and the DNC leaks. And he just will not accept the fact that you lost. You put everything on the field, you left it there, and you lost.
And
even Jay-Z and Beyonce couldn't pull this race in.
They talked about the fact that the Democrats had the ground game and Donald Trump didn't. The fact that he won and his whole party won, what does it tell you?
Well, it tells you that they did not have the ground game, number one. And number two, they really didn't have the ball and they didn't play the right way. And, you know, I think Americans are really ready to see Israel take a respectful place and ready for prosperity.
All right. Thank you all for being here tonight.